Disorder is a struggle, and it can be hard to tell if someone's fighting the battle. Next month, volunteers with the Mood Disorder Society of Canada are hosting a run and walk to help defeat depression. And people like Buddy Green of Sudbury will be taking part. Buddy is a high-level athlete. He's had his own struggles with depression. His father was killed in a car accident when Buddy was in high school. And he's been suffering some anxiety issues. And he joined me in studio the other day, and I asked him about when it all started.
Yeah, it goes back quite a few years, probably till I was, early teens even. At the time, didn't know anything, about mental illness or anything like that. It wasn't really as talked about as it is now. It's getting much better than it was then. We still have a long ways to go, but it's come a long way. And so it wasn't until my mid-20s where I really started to pick up on things. Other people would say little things here or there, and
what?
They would just notice things that I'd be really down, or act a certain way, be withdrawn in social settings, stuff like that. And it wasn't until with some encouragement, started seeking out some help, and actually started talking to somebody that realized that this has been going on for quite a while without me even realizing it, and I've just been dealing with it on my own. How
has it affected your life?
I definitely have, my down days. Less now. I've been getting help. Speaking with people, getting some medication, stuff like that to help deal with it. It's an ongoing battle, and it's probably something I'm going to be dealing with probably the rest of my life. But with help and the right treatment, it's come a long way.
Yeah, you had some tragedy in your life. Your dad was killed in a car crash here. Did that affect your mental health at the time, do you think?
I think it played a big part in it. My dad being kind of one of the stable figures in my life and playing a big role in my life. And losing him in my last year of high school, I think had a big effect on that. And, what really, there was starts of the mental illness, I think, before that, but I think that really brought it out even more.
What do you remember about those days and what you were going through emotionally?
A lot of guilt even towards the accident. Even though I wasn't presently there at the time that it happened, there was a lot of guilt that I should have been, or I should have done something different in leading up to that. That if I had talked to him even 5 minutes longer, before leaving the house, that that split second that it took for him to get hit, it might have been delayed, and there might have been a different outcome. But now looking back on that, I've come to realize that that's out of my control, and I can't hold myself accountable or for things like that.
And I interviewed you, so you say, because I don't remember, when you were 11 years old, because you're quite a swimming star way back when.
Yeah.
Did your mental health, how did it play a role in where you went with your athleticism?
Well, with sports, I think especially when you start competing at higher and higher levels, the demands start becoming more and more.
There's stress.
There's stress, to make certain teams, or, to be competing at a certain weight, with all that type of stuff. So, I think even that played a little bit of a part into it. And, having to deal with that as well too. I think it was just, one more thing on top of a lot of other things going on at the time.
So did you drop the swimming?
I swam up until, my dad was killed, and then I swam one more year after that, 1 year of university. And then I stopped swimming and actually got into triathlon and ended up competing at 4 World Championships for Canada in triathlon after that. So swimming stopped, but got into a new sport that, obviously incorporates swimming as well too. And, I ran track and field and cross country in high school. So, just kind of brought it all together, and I was able to go, quite far in triathlon. And
triathlon, they say, is as demanding as it is on your body. There's a big mental component to just being able to keep on going, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that's, been one of the key things for me is, in some of my darker days is reaching back on some of the things I learned through sport, even though, from coaches and mentors, and is being able to be strong and to pull through certain situations and be able to talk yourself through different things. I think, without that, there could have been times where, there could have been a different outcome even.
Like, what goes through your mind when you're in that last 5K of a triathlon that you're running? And because who wants to be there, right?
Exactly. It's a pretty big mental game at that point. And, everybody's put in the work, and, a lot of it comes down to just who wants it more and who's going to be able to, dig deep and talk themselves through those situations.
But it's helped you, don't you think?
I think it has, for sure, especially dealing with the mental illness in certain situations where, there have been times where, I've debated or, thought about, if I really still even want to be here anymore. And, there's the suicide rate in my opinion, is way too high for people dealing with mental illness, not getting the help they need in that. And I think I was able to rely on some of those things I learned through sport to actually help me through that even.
So the Defeat Depression Walk and Run is coming up next month. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's our third year here in Sudbury, hosting the event. It's happening on May 28th. We're looking for people to sign up. We had about 300 participants last year. We're gunning for about 400 this year. And, check us out on Facebook. We had a great Facebook page where people can get involved, or defeatdepression.ca as well if you want to sign up and register and be a part.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, telling us a bit of your story.
Thank you.
That's Buddy Green. He is helping organize the Sudbury Defeat Depression Walk and Run. They're looking for people to participate, in fact, to start fundraising right now if it's something you might be interested in. Again, it's happening May the 28th. It's a Saturday. It's happening at Bell Park, and the website where you can sign up, defeatdepression.ca.